Great to be here at eTourism with my fellow visionaries out here. I enjoy seeing all you guys. I also don't sit down when I talk, so I'm going to be standing up. And today our session is going to quickly take you through a marketing campaign from creation to delivery to measurement in a really fast pace. And I have two fellow storytellers here, Mike and Anton, that are going to get into it. So what I want to do is get right into it. So our governor's office reached out to us a couple years ago and said, hey guys, we need a new logo to unify all of our state agencies under one banner. And at AOT, we said, sure, we'd love to do that, but we're going to do it the tourism way. And so we said, okay, we need some inspiration for this. How are we going to do this? And what we're going to do is, can I get the slide to my next one? I probably got to get the slide turner. I knew something was going to go wrong. Just kidding. Okay, here we go. So we said, how are we going to do this? So what we did is we took inspiration from stalwart tourism brands out there. I'm sure many of you are aware of Pure Michigan or New Mexico True or Virginia's for Lovers, or even what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So we took some inspiration from that and we said, okay, this new Arizona brand needs to be three things, really. It needs to be authentic. We love that word, right? Authentic to Arizona and Arizonans. It needs to be usable by multiple groups and organizations, even outside of tourism. And also, it needs to withstand the test of time. And so with that in mind, we got to what was my favorite part of this, which is what my first slide represents here, which we called the Discovering Arizona Tour. And so, of course, we made a PR campaign out of building the campaign. And that's what all of these pictures here are of, which is we went out to the state. We went to 57 communities in person in Arizona. We talked to over 2,000 Arizonans. And we said, tell us, what do you love about your part of the state? What's the first thing that you might go do? What are your hidden gems? And even, what are some misperceptions about your place that you might want to correct? And the good thing, of course, is that people responded to us. And one of the best things that came out of this is people just thanked us for going to their communities in person and talking to them and listening to what they had to say. And it really gets at that idea of sustainable and responsible tourism and saying, hey, you know, we care about you. We care about who we're sending to your spot. People love that. The other thing that people shared with us was some common themes that came through. And thankfully, there were common themes, right? Sometimes you look at your state and you think everyone's all different. But fortunately, we had some good common themes that came through from the people we talked to that was throughout the entire state. So from that, we built 6 pillars that we used to define our brand. But instead of telling you about those pillars, I'm going to share this awesome video. It's only 7 minutes long, so just sit tight. Just kidding, it's like 1 minute and 30. But we got this awesome video out of it, and this is one of the assets that really gets to the point of what people said they love about our state.
In Arizona, everywhere you look, mountains are moving. The land is wide awake.
You can see it, and you can feel it. Our skies are clear, and our stars shine freely.
Hearts are full.
And inspiration is inevitable.
Breathtaking sunsets are the brushed reflection of crimson rock canyons and the deep blue waters of flowing rivers and crystalline lakes. From forests of saguaros to towering ponderosa pines, this land is alive with unique greens of all shapes, sizes, and stories. And beyond the vivid hues of our landscapes, life itself is saturated with adventure. Breathe it in. Soak it up.
Climb to the top of it and race down the other side.
Walk it.
Run it.
Swim it.
Paddle it.
Explore it. Arizona is centuries of possibility in the making.
A place where creativity and ingenuity are the heartbeat of every community, and a powerful history energizes our future.
See life vividly. Feel it viscerally. Connect to it deeply. Awaken your spirit and feel the beating pulse
of vibrant Arizona.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what I love about this video is, of course, it's diverse, but it really hits at some things that people shared with us, which is, number one, we love our desert and we love defining it for people. And the way we describe the Sonoran Desert is that it is the wettest and the greenest and the most biodiverse desert on the planet. And so that leads right into, you saw in this video, mountains and snow. That's really there. Not right now, but it is. Also, water in the lakes, water in the rivers. That's not AI generated. That water is really there. And lots of green. People told us, hey, we want people to know that, yes, our desert has brown, but it has a lot of green in it. So we shared all those things in this video, and also we came up with the phrase vibrant Arizona. That was really how all these experiences coalesced for us, which is the state is vibrant both in the views that you get, the places you visit, but also the culture and the people that you meet. So Vibrant Arizona is the name of our campaign. So now we know we're going to do a campaign. We need to know who we are going to target. Fortunately for us, we did a target persona study a couple years ago, which identified the people who we want to sell Arizona to, or our highest value visitors. And we only call them highest value visitors to mean that the people in these categories are the people that are most likely to want to do the things that Arizona excels at, such as outdoor activities, wellness, luxury travelers, Wild Bunch, which is families, and Foodies Without Pretense. And we named it Foodies Without Pretense because we feel like when we say foodies, sometimes people think you only mean high-end dining experiences. And really, this is people who love any type of food as long as it's local to the place or the ingredients in that place. So we have our campaign. We have who we want to target with that campaign. And that now leads me to the next part of this presentation, which is how are we going to get to those people? Fortunately, I have my good friend Anton here from Ampersand, who's going to take us on that part of the journey.
Thank you, Josh. I wanted to start, first of all, by saying thank you for the presenters before us and certainly after us. It's awesome to come in and talk about things that we do well, but it's awesome to learn what other people do well as well and incorporate their thinking, their strategies, their concepts into that we have in the marketplace. So let's see. So Josh shared some really interesting. Am I seeing the slide? Green. Is it green? Yeah.
You can go back with the red. It's just
Not changing. Oh, there
we
go.
go.
So Josh shared some interesting things with us in terms of the type of intelligence, the type of work that went into gathering the information about the destinations within Arizona, right? And this content, so well produced, so awesome, so compelling, it belongs on the television screen. And let's be honest, television is not dead. Television still has an ability to bring your audience to your destinations in 4K and, you know, in high contrast right on your television screen where people consume that. And unfortunately for destination marketers, it's not an easy thing to do, because in order to do this right, and in order to put your money and your investment into reaching your audience, you need to find it. And it is very, very complex nowadays, because this is our media universe. And let's see if this slide will come in again. I have to.
It's up.
Is it up?
There you go.
Okay.
They just got to put it up.
Okay, this is the media universe, right? And it's a very complex place to be. You have a variety of different platforms. You have different channels. You have addressable TV. You have streaming. How do you really find that audience that you're trying to target? You know, back in the 50s and 60s, If you put your spot on I Love Lucy, you could reach 30% of the US population. Well, that's no longer the case here. Buying into big media campaigns sometimes is a waste of money because you reach some of your audience that you intend, and the rest of this is waste. We've seen some examples of people even back in the 70s saying, I don't know what half of my advertising works. I just don't know, the Wanamaker said that, I don't know which works and what doesn't, right? So data becomes a currency in all of this, understanding where your audience is, how it consumes television, whether it be through linear TV, whether it be through CTV or OTT environment, streaming. It's incredibly important. That's the currency in which we live in. If we can find this audience, regardless of how they consume television, we can target them, we can create a good reach and frequency, we can be in front of their households and on their TV screens, and most importantly, make our media accountable because we can work with entities, third parties, our partners that not only be able to verify what we've done, but understand all of the components of campaign and what they've done and what they have not done well. So what makes me so confident sitting here and talking about that Ampersand can do it? Well, it's probably our history. We started in 1981, believe it or not, in the very onset of television advertising, right? So we've been out there as NCC Media and then Ampersand in 2018, so we've certainly been around working in the travel category and others. And what makes us different in the marketplace is the assets that we have from our owners, which is Comcast, Cox, and Spectrum. Those are large telecommunication companies that deliver internet and television to households across the United States. And by working with them directly, we have two things that are fantastic relative to reaching that audience on TV. Number one, we have their data. We have data at scale. Not just the data, anybody can have it, but the billing data, which is extremely accurate. And this data is when overlaid with a variety of different third parties like LifeRamp, BlockGraph, Experian, allows to target your consumers on television screen with precision and scale. And target not only from a national perspective, target them in specific markets, target them directly to their household level. That's the new television that I'm talking about today. It is targeted, it is addressable, it is accountable because we know what type of results it generates and how. In terms of our scale, that's very, very important. 118 million people that we can reach with our messages. 63 million addressable households, which is absolutely the largest scale of addressable television in the United States. And we can do this from a national perspective, coast to coast. If you have a particular DMO or state tourism board that is interested in doing this from coast to coast, we can do this. We have that scale. We enable that massive reach. We can also do this locally. If a particular client, a particular DMO is interested in reaching audiences from their drive-in or fly-in markets, we can absolutely do this as well. And that type of flexibility from a campaign perspective is very important, or coming from a single media vendor. So we have that flexibility. And what's important, as I said also, is that the consumers, when they come in, and most of you in the audience probably feel the same way, when you turn the TV on, you are not looking at this. Is it a CTV, OTT content? Is it linear TV content? You're watching TV on your 17-inch screen, right? And we wanted to reach your audience regardless of how they consume media, right? So your message is on point. You reach the right households. Either you're watching a linear television, either you're watching video on demand to any type of streaming apps, and you see all of the ones below that we represent. But the key in the message that I wanted to say, and I would love to talk to anybody after, if anybody has a question, is to really challenge, and I know a lot of you working with the media agencies, we love them, and some of them are here in this room, is to challenge them to think differently in terms of television advertising. make them think not about the platforms, but the audience. Can I reach the right audience regardless of how they consume television? So that's very important. And do this with a vendor, a media vendor, that can bring you all of the aspects to make those campaigns important and efficient. Can we target your audience? Yes. Can we run a efficient media campaign? Yes. And most importantly, can we then use the data from those campaigns and from those exposures to pass it to the right partner to be able to do the measurement and the analysis from which we can all learn relative to how our campaign has done. What can we do different? What can we do better? And so naturally, I want to talk to our friends, Mike Robertson from Arrivalist. We've been with Arrivalist for many, many years, around many, many different campaigns, and he's got some results that he can share with you.
Thank you so much. There really are in this room and even on this stage kind of two sides of an equation, right? On one side of the equation, we have Josh, or the destination marketers, the destination leaders that have put so much time and energy and creativity into these campaigns. And the other half of the equation are the supplier side, right? Those of us who are here to help those clients make the most of their decisions and their investment. And when Josh in Arizona come to Arrivalist and say, we've launched this campaign, can you, help us understand that impact? We are finding that the ways that Anton or that TV vendors provide that value is becoming more and more and more critical to the clients we work with, and likely clients that you all work with as well. So just speaking, through our data and the impressions that we are measuring, we saw a 74% increase in ads or impressions generated through TV mediums compared to 2023 and 2024. And we were processing hundreds of millions of impressions in 2023. So this is a huge exclamation point that destinations have put, at least on our clients, that this is the direction where we are really starting to put a lot of our investment in our marketing funnel. And the reasons why are the reasons that we've heard already. The targeting capabilities, being able to be adaptable from large to small, local to national, being able to target those audiences so there's not a lot of waste, a lot of efficiency in how these impressions are generated, how they're distributed, how they're targeted. And that efficiency is attractive to destinations, and it makes sense that this is something that becomes more and more important. And this trend towards CTV or other TV mediums has been something we've been talking about for many years. Arrivalist has been talking about it for many years. I'm sure a lot of other providers in the space have been talking about it for many years as well. And looking at the increase in investment that we're seeing our clients place in here, I'm sure this is going to continue to be a priority for many years to come. And that is really important. That's really important for us to keep in mind. But the other side of this equation, where Arrivalist tries to come in, where we try to support Josh, is would they visit anyway? This is a question that our marketing directors, our clients, I'm sure a lot of people in this room get asked all the time. This campaign is very impressive, but who are we reaching? Would these people have visited anyway? Or can we start to attribute some incremental potential changes in behaviors to the ads that we're running? And we have found that this A/B testing is a really effective way to do that. So these impressions, these videos that just say Josh has produced, not only are they incredibly powerful for us visually, but we're also seeing that incredible presentation is driving visitation above and beyond what we would normally expect. These targeted TV impressions have a higher arrival lift than other mediums that are part of that marketing funnel. And that, of course, does not mean to get rid of everything and only use TV, right? Every vendor, every part of this has a purpose and point in your marketing funnel. But this trend towards video is certainly something that we've been seeing for many years. And very excited, Josh, to come to next year's eTourism Summit, where you can talk about all the successes that you've had. And I know we have a couple minutes left. I think we take a couple questions. You want to try to take some questions?
Sure, if anyone has any. Looks like no questions.
There's a couple hands there, a
All right.
Do you have mics?
They're coming, they're coming.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, they're gonna.
I can yell. During your oh, it does work. Sorry.
There we go.
My bad. During when you were interviewing members of your state, Josh, was there any thing in particular that resonated with you, or maybe that you learned about your state that you didn't know before that process?
Oh, that's a great question. And there absolutely was a ton of kind of little insights or thoughts that people have about Arizona and about their perception of how people outside of their place see them. And really, I'm sure you would all agree that, you know, Arizona is really the sum of its parts, like every state. And, you know, we found that people are very proud of their individual communities. And so it's not even just saying like, oh, what do you think about a place like Bisbee, Arizona? But they even think about how other people in Arizona think about them, because a lot of their market is other Arizonans. And one thing that we shared with a lot of the people in these smaller communities, and it kind of confirmed what they're already doing, is that 25% of our overnight visitors to Arizona are Arizonans visiting other parts of Arizona. And so that's 11 million visitors a year, really. And so they were, like I said, they were extremely happy that we just came in person and talked to them. And our director of our office, was at almost every single one of these visits. And I keep saying that we talked to them, but really we asked them questions and let them talk to us. And we didn't limit it to just say rosy things. We let them say whatever they wanted. And one thing we talked a lot about is, how do you get somebody to maybe say something that's less than great about their community? And the way we did that is we said, what are misperceptions about your town or your community that you would like to see corrected? And we found that once we did that, because we didn't do that initially, but once we did that, people were a lot more willing to say things that, you know, like Sedona, for example. I'm sure a lot of people know about Sedona. They have a ton of visitors, and that's a challenge for them. And so they were much more willing to share these things that we could help address in our campaigns when we're promoting that place.
Okay, so I guess my question, sorry, is are we putting out that this process is the future of measurable tourism marketing? And I guess then, what is that necessarily saying about us? Because isn't this still tying exposure to then, you know, visitation through mobile discovery of, you know, visitors in the area? Like, what are we doing new here?
It's a good question too. So every campaign that we ever run starts with a conversation with the client and the agency, right? They wanted to reach personas. They wanted to reach them across, you know, whatever footprint, would it be, you know, drive-in, fly-in markets or nationally, right? Once you understand the specific audience that you're trying to reach, and I think everything starts with the audience, not the platforms, you can then guide the agency and the client in the most efficient media or a marketing plan that would assist them running the most efficient and effective campaign. Let me give you an example. For preparation for this meeting, just for fun, I asked Josh to share the audiences that they've developed with us. And so we were able to go in and take a look at what are those audiences within our footprint. And we got a number, I think, around 18 million people. So imagine a situation which is sizable audience, right? And imagine the situation that you would say, okay, I want to reach this audience, and I want to go in kind of a old TV way and spend this across network level television. We're going to spend a lot of money, and with 85 million US cable homes, there's going to be an immense amount of waste. you're going to be reaching people that have no intention to visit or no intention to go to this destination of interest. An ability to create the targeting advertising bypasses all of this waste completely, right? You're reaching the right home with the right frequency to drive the right outcomes. And if we're capable to do this across a television medium, which is, again, for most people as we see it, is more outdated, right? It's the you know, there's a concept that that's older people watching television. That's no longer the case. Television is now accountable. You have the data to support it. You have the data to target, to drive the same type of a campaigns as you do in other mediums, be it internet advertising, search, or whatnot. But it's done on a big screen TV. It's with all of the emotion and everything that can be generated because of it. And if we can affect that upper funnel of interest, then everything that we've talked today, be it AI or anything else, falls into place to bring that consumer to the destination. And if we can effective in this part of this, which is typically with TV advertising, is the highest investment by the agency or the client, right? If we can do a better job there, I think we're better off as an industry.
All right, I think that's all of our time. Do we have any other questions? Not seeing any.
How long did it take you from start to finish on that campaign?
You asking me? How long it took us to go out and visit all these people and gather the data, and
The entire thing, yeah.
a little less than a year. And and we use an agency to help us to collect all the data and distill it down. But the results were great, and of course I shared one video, but that was like 1% of what we got out of it. But it was great, and it built a ton of goodwill within our state, which is one of the reasons why we did the Discovering Arizona part of it and why we documented it, was we assumed that eventually somewhere along the line, someone is going to say, you missed somebody. You're not representing the whole state. And so we did all we could to answer that question and to say, here's the goods. Here's all the groups we talked to whose opinions and feelings are somehow incorporated into the final product. All right, I think that's all of our time, so thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.